Wrestling has more than one royal family.
For the first time in his career, Cody is standing in the impact zone. His DNA built a legacy, and he's not alone. All roads, including wife Brandy, lead to Bound for Glory. Look at this, he is here. They are here. Cody and Brandy Rhodes are entering the six-sided ring for the first time. And the night just got worse for the Miracle Mike Bennett and Maria.
Want to hear about history? Let's take you back 24 years ago, August 1979, when this man, Dustin Rhodes, first stood atop the NWA mountain as the National Wrestling Alliance World's Champion. He would go on to defeat Harley Race again 2 years later. Then Ric Flair in 1986, his third and final reign. Tonight, the Dream looks to make history and to preserve the rich history and the tradition of the championship belt that dates back over 50 years. A title belt that's been worn by the biggest names in the business. There's the Funk's Jack Briscoe.
And you know how calculating he is. He has said and thought about nothing but getting victorious here in the six-sided ring. And he's going to have to do it against the ever-popular son of the DOA, Dustin Rhodes.
Well, his publicly stated goal since arriving in TNA 2 months ago has been to become NWA World Heavyweight Champion, just like his father Dusty did back in the 70s and the 80s. In Rave, this is obviously the level of opponent that Dustin Rhodes needs a singles win over to reach that kind of a goal. Score another 3 count on Raven, and Dustin Rhodes moves up the rankings.
Wrestler in the world, I got a list for you, Tom. Tanahashi, Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, Chris Jericho, Moribuchi. All those men have fallen to Will Ospreay. And Tom, that's been in the last 6-8 months. He has been on the tear of a lifetime all over planet Earth, and he brings those talents to Bound for Glory.
Will Ospreay here in Impact Wrestling for the first time in 7 years.
What's this about? AJ Styles? You kidding me? You can't believe it! Get the hell out of here! No way! No way! This can't happen! Yes, it can! The old AJ! The phenomenal AJ Styles! He's back! And he's not only back, he's with the main event Mafia!
When EC3 and Kurt Angle signed the contract to make this World Championship match official, the clause stated that they would get to pick each other's opponents. EC3 was forced to go one-on-one with two-time World Champion Lashley, and Pope, I think it spoke volumes that EC3 was able to defeat Lashley. Well, when you talk about defeating one Lashley, we have to look at the fact that EC3 took a couple of shortcuts, if you will, to get there. But at the end of the day, yes, Josh, you're right. EC3 defeated Lashley, and now he has the opportunity to defeat someone in Curt Hennig.
The following 8-man tag match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, Kazarian and Christopher Daniels.
Welcome back to Impact Wrestling. Going to kick off the action with an 8-man tag team match, but guys, still just in shock of the announcement. How about the main event? A 6-man tag later tonight.
Doesn't get any bigger than that. The return to the ring of the immortal Hulk Hogan, and he's going to team with the icon Sting and Bully Ray against Aces and Eights. That's still to come.
Of a division, the woman who's carried the knockouts on her back for years and defines what it means to be a professional wrestler in the knockouts division, walks into Slammiversary as champion and to one of her toughest matches to date against Trinity.
Amongst her 3 Knockouts World title reigns, she has held the championship for 531 total days, second only to the Impact Hall of Famer, Gail Kim. She is a perfect 2-0 in singles matches here at Slammiversary. Can she defeat Trinity tonight in Windsor? For 153 days, he has reigned as the TNA World Champion. He has not lost a singles match in this company in a year and a half. And Moose walks in with momentum. Earlier on tonight, Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich took care of business, retaining the Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. And then the controversy in the TNA World Tag Team title match as the involvement of Moose and Dirty Dango helped Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers turn away Nick and Ryan Nemeth.
A hell of a surprise that I never saw coming and the Nemeths never saw coming. I hope Matt Hardy, broken Matt Hardy, knows what's coming his way.
It is time for this NWA World Heavyweight title matchup. Hennig and Jarrett. NWA TNA debut only 2 months ago, but certainly in that time, Curt Hennig has continually crossed paths with Jeff Jarrett. Think back, Jarrett cost Hennig the NWA World's title back in October with interference. Several weeks later, he attacked, he bloodied Hennig in the locker room, then eliminated him from the #1 Contenders Tournament. Hennig then disqualified in a brawl between the two that went all over the asylum. Bottom line, nothing's been settled yet between this man, the challenger, Curt Hennig, and his opponent, Jeff Jarrett, but it's time to settle it now.
And now introducing his opponent from Ibiza, the X Division champion of the world, DJZ. It was September 1st that DJZ won his second X Division championship in Ultimate X. Can DJZ hold on to his championship here tonight against Trevor Lee?
Well, certainly it's going to be one to see, because you know wherever there's Trevor Lee, there just may be an Andrew Everett somewhere around. But you look at that entrance, DJZ comes down, you say, what a cool entrance is that? You know what else is cool about DJZ? Everything he does in that darn ring.
One-third of the never openweight six-man tag team champions, Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada,
A two-time IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, a five-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Okada has finally returned to a TNA ring. It has been more than a decade since the Rainmaker has stepped foot in a TNA ring. And to many in the wrestling world, they thought it was a thing. They thought it was a time, a moment that would never happen. But here we are.
Over a decade ago, Okada was here in TNA wrestling. To say the least, that was not the best experience that he had. He has publicly spoken very negatively of this company during that stint, but recently he has changed his tune, changed his opinion, and now as he looks down at those three letters with two familiar faces in Saban and Shelley, showing a lot of respect for TNA wrestling. What an honor it is for all of us to have Okada in a TNA ring.
He's hot. He's spicy. He tastes great. Curry Man. I dare you to stay seated during Curry Man's entrance. And as you can see by the crowd reaction here at the Impact Zone, it's absolutely infectious. Everybody, including Don West, wants to do that dance.
And it's hard not to get caught up in that, isn't it? I mean, the whole Impact Zone just goes crazy when it's time for Curry Man, but...
Ladies and gentlemen, the following is a non-title Lethal Lockdown Advantage Challenge match. It is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, representing the main event Mafia from Detroit, Michigan, Big Papa Pump, Steiner! Have to admit, Scott Steiner didn't hesitate in the least when AJ Styles issued the challenge for this matchup, but I still have in my mind those words that Scott Steiner was saying to Jeff Jarrett.
Well, I mean, when you think about the beginning of this show, it was Scott Steiner that was the voice of reason. He was the one that was explaining to Jeff what it's all about, where you should be thinking about. Think about where you belong, and you could see that Jeff was struggling with it.
His opponent is the TNA X Division Champion, Suicide! The new TNA X Division Champion will have his hands full at lockdown when he defends the title against 4 challengers in a special escape match where the object is to leave the 6 sides of steel cage. And when you look at that list of 4 challengers,
Consequences Creed, Black Machismo Jay Lethal, Sheik Abdul Bashir, and Kiyoshi.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the man that many call the best bout machine. And I'd like to open up the conversation here. Why? Why do Kenny Omega's fans believe that he is pound for pound the best in the world? I would love to have the conversation because I do agree. But then there are others that say that Kenny ain't that great. And Sami Callihan is just the guy to beat. Your thoughts?
Let's first of all get this conversation hashtag Slammiversary and answer that. Why is Kenny Omega the best bout machine? I agree. He is pound for pound one of the best in the world. But I also agree that Sami Callihan is one of the most unpredictable.
And that's a good point. Look, we've seen everyone try to beat Kenny Omega at pro wrestling. Sami Callihan is not going to do that, is he?
No, he is going to try to use his entire impact zone as a weapon. The ring is a weapon. The stairs are a weapon. Hell, if fans get in the way, they're going to be a weapon.
But you know, certain guys in our sport, they just don't lose. Look at legendary names like Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan. You know, only Arn Anderson, Bullet Bob Armstrong, Undertaker, and Antonio Inoki have pinfall victories over Flair and Hogan. It's one of those things. We're going to be talking about Kenny Omega in that same breath one day.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our main event. The iconic voice of David Penzer set for the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your opening contest on TNA Impact. A one-fall tag team match. Introducing team number 1, accompanied by Christy Hemme Lance Rock and Jimmy Rave, The Rock and Rave Infection.
The wrestling world had so many things to talk about after Sunday's Hard Justice pay-per-view from the incredible Kurt Angle AJ Styles match, and I'm going to get interrupted by Christy Hemme again.
We love you, Topeka! Hey, now that you've got a little infection, all I want to know is who wants to rock my sock?
Grace comes prepared.
Trinity came to this company last year looking for a new start, looking to prove herself all over again in professional wrestling. She demanded nothing. She was here to earn everything and prove what she is all about as a person and prove what she is capable of as a professional wrestler. She did that at Slammiversary this past summer, capturing the Knockouts World Championship and defending it with honor so many times over the past 182 days as champion.
And doing so obviously successfully, time and time again, proving the power one can wield when you take the chance and bet on yourself. That is precisely what Trinity has done over the last year. But this right here could be her toughest test to date when she takes on the juggernaut, Jordynne Grace.
I can guarantee you this, Ray Wall, this is the best version of Jordynne Grace we have ever seen. 287 days in this, her third Knockouts World title reign. 16 successful defenses between TNA and NXT, one shy of the record set by Taya Valkyrie 4 years ago. Jordynne Grace has won the most matches of any TNA wrestler in this company this year. It's the age-old question you and I have been talking about for months. How do you stop the juggernaut?
Learned a lesson when it comes to upsetting and crossing Sting, not only to the icon, put the world champ in the Iron Man match at Final Resolution against AJ Styles, but tonight, Roode has to face both AJ and Jeff Hardy in this three-way match.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a three-way match, but you know, it's kind of like you said earlier, it kind of seems as if because Hardy and Styles are strange bedfellows here in this situation. You know, they both got smashed behind the head with the title belt of Bobby Roode, so how the heck are they not going to work together and pound on Bobby Roode, in my opinion?
Let's send it to the ring. Introductions for our main event from Jeremy Borash.
Hey, Mike, you count sheep at all?
Ladies and gentlemen, the following is a no disqualification knockout contest. It is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Civil, Texas, Daffney.
I gotta tell you, Mike, Daffney, she's very unorthodox. Her style's unorthodox, and she's kind of sexy looking. She's kind of like zombie hot.
Zombie hot?
Yeah. I think I just started like a new gimmick. Zombie hot.
Zombie hot? Where'd you get that?
I don't know.
Scream Queen admitted she's not capable of formulating a game plan against Hamada. To me, that unpredictability makes her dangerous.
Your opponents first from Minneapolis, Minnesota, ODB.
Well, we just saw the man that's going to get the night with ODB. Obviously, that's going to take a lot of training before you're able to actually experience that night with ODB. Maybe some Marine Recon work or something. But I'll tell you what, it's good to see ODB back in that ring. What you mentioned it, Mike, today. Awesome Kong showed how dominant she is. And right now, when I look at the knockout division, I don't see anyone to take her on.
Oh, the challenger channeling the Motor City's own Slim Shady as he makes his way to the ring for the biggest single opportunity of his career. An opportunity he's been working for 10 plus years. After a year that has put him on an astronomical rise to the pinnacle of pro wrestling.
Channeling his inner Jason Voorhees as well. With Halloween right around the corner, he has been relentless in his pursuit of the TNA World Championship. This is everything Joe Hendry has ever dreamed of.
His tag team partner from Atlanta, Georgia, Consequences Creed.
You know, when I think back of the image of AJ Styles and Samoa Joe calling out the back, it was Jay Lethal and this guy, Consequences Creed, that led the charge. I mean, two young guys with futures so bright, it's unbelievable. But they didn't hesitate to let Joe and AJ know that they're in it for the long haul. They're in it for the war.
I think it's safe to say that the opinions from the 3 Live crew to the offer from Kip James were definitely divided. We saw BG James, he actually bought in, he thought it was a good idea for Kip James to come to ringside to watch their back. I think the truth, actually, he believed it even after BG put his stamp of approval on it, but Conan wants nothing to do with any association with Kip James.
Well, BG James has the experience, he knows that Steiner can be a force that can cause him to lose this match. It's just a smart thing to do.
Oh, down, what's on and poppin'? What I want to know is, where are dogs at? Where they at? Yo, let me speak on this. Orale! Arriba la raza!
Yeah. Now, O-Town, as well as the rest of the viewing audience, welcome to Bound for Glory. You see, tonight, we represent Americana personified with badass and bona fide. Now, O-Town, see if y'all remember this one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, total non-stop action proudly brings to you its soon-to-be Tag Team Champions of the World! Not one, not two, but the 3 Live crew! Lord have mercy.
The Great Muta!
For 30 years, the Great Muta has been one of the most successful and influential wrestlers to come from Japan. Taz, between the NWA, New Japan, and All Japan promotions, the Great Muta, an 8-time World Heavyweight Champion.
Well, no doubt Muta, a legend for sure, throughout the world in our industry. Boatloads of respect for him, to say the least. I'm just wondering what Muta thinks of the former X Division champion, Sonata, who wrestles now here for the TNA. That's what I'm wondering. Has Sonata been up to par in Muta's mind?
And I wonder what the Great Muta thinks of the recent actions of James Storm towards Sonata. Great Muta, the founder and president of Wrestle One in Japan.
44.
Whoa, pump the brakes here.
The intimidating presence of Hulk Hogan and Immortal, answered by the arrival of Fortune, the faction that refused to take a back seat to anybody in TNA.
Ladies and gentlemen, the opponent in this contest from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, she is the defending TNA Women's Knockout Champion, Wilde!
When you think back to the reign of Awesome Kong, the fact that she held that knockout championship for over 6 months, the fact that nobody came close to stopping her, nobody that is, until the upset queen, Taylor Wilde. And Don, you will remember it, that night when she came out of the crowd at the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida, as part of the Awesome Kong Challenge.
Well, you were just so impressed with her heart. You were just so impressed with this desire she had to be in that ring, and she wasn't going to give up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following is a tag team grudge match. It is scheduled for one fall. Introducing team number 1, representing the main event Mafia. First, accompanied by Charmel from Houston, Texas, Booker T.
You know, through the years, I've seen wrestling groups, wrestling factions come and go. But last week from Las Vegas, it felt like we were sitting in on a very important piece of wrestling history when Sting, Kurt Angle, Kevin Nash joined this man, Booker T, and they were united in forming the Main Event Mafia.
I'll tell you what, another big moment that we had last week was when Booker T unveiled that Legends belt. Have you ever seen a belt with more glitz, more glitter? I mean, the diamonds, the rubies. I mean, it's what you would think a legend would wear. But you heard Christian Cage, turning point, he's gonna battle him for it.
On the heels of another great TNA pay-per-view this past Sunday in Slammiversary. Welcome everyone to Total Nonstop Action Wrestling and welcome to Impact. Hello once again everyone from ringside, Mike today, joined by Don West. And as we see Michael, Shane, and Tracy make their way to the ring, we're going to go straight to the ring, straight to action this week on Impact. But Don, first, we need to reflect back on this past Sunday and Slammiversary. It was historic because Raven became the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion for the very first time.
And the crazy part about that, Mike, was Raven was not even supposed to be there. He had quit. He had left at the beginning of the show.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. About to make his way to the ring, he is the #1 contender for the NWA Heavyweight Championship of the World. He is the Man Beast, Rhino!
Jeff Jarrett thought that Rhino was his insurance policy, but that was not the case at Sacrifice when it was Rhino who beat the NWA World Champ Raven.
We kick things off with the ace, someone who stands as a standard bearer for New Japan Pro Wrestling, the face of the company in many ways, an icon of the craft, and a man who knows the current Impact Wrestling World Champion very, very well.
Hiroshi Tanahashi is the first person ever to challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight title, the AEW World title, and the Impact World Championship in the same year. Tanahashi set to go one-on-one for the first time ever, mind you, with someone who he taught along the way in Japan, and that kindness was shown back at him by Shelley when Tanahashi first came to Impact Wrestling back in 2008.
This is a match that has been building and building personally and professionally for so long, but now that Alex Shelley stands as Impact Champion, the stakes are as high as they can possibly get.